Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes. So, today is National Sprinkles Day.
I don't like
Sprinkles,
sprinkles.
sprinkles. They get caught in my teeth.
They're just gritty.
Yeah, well, of course they're gritty. All they are lumps of sugar.
I like them on ice cream.
Yep, they're good on ice cream sundaes.
Maybe if they had flavors to them, that might be a different story. But
Yeah, they're just there to look pretty.
I've seen mint sprinkles.
But then that also gets into why I like one of the reasons why I like vanilla ice cream over all the other flavors. You can not only is it good on its own, but you can add anything to it and it still tastes good.
Yep.
Before the home Ulsterizer, as we called it then, the blender came. I used to make my own milkshakes out of just letting the ice cream melt and throwing in chocolate powder. Num num. Do we have anybody here?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Hey, you out there in chat, somebody just key in a single letter or a period or something, so we know you're there. Gee whiz!
Well,
if you're not there, I'm just going to shut up.
It just says two watching. So Jenny, I think that's me and you.
Oh well, okay.
That would be. Oh, I'm on there.
Oh, here we are.
Hi, gang.
Hey, nice to have you here.
Hello.
Hey, Journey. I'm not going to call you Unfinished Journey. That's just too many letters.
No, there's one.
Okay.
I think the count must be wrong because it had, if it was counting you and Jenny and us there, that's three at least.
If YouTube ever gets their numbers right, I will be amazed.
Yeah, well, there was one time I was having a conversation in the side chat with 3 other people, and YouTube said there was only one person watching.
Yeah, YouTube's all messed up lately.
Yeah.
Even more so compared to usual.
And now they have effed over Chrome.
So,
oh yeah.
So, Unfinished Journey. I have never actually met you. Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, Jenny.
Tell me about yourself.
Tell everyone a bit about yourself.
So I'm a atheist, former Christian.
Oh my God!
I know, shock.
Jesus Christ!
No.
We don't believe in him here.
Yeah, I parted ways with him a few decades ago. And
how often do you masturbate? Standard question we ask everyone.
Classified.
Okay.
If you have to ask, you don't need to know.
If you got to ask, you can't afford it.
Well, that's safe for the OnlyFans, so you have to subscribe for it.
Well, yeah. My plan for my OnlyFans is people will pay me to put my clothes on.
Well,
for reverse OnlyFans.
Well, good to have you with us. You've been hanging out in the side chat, and you've been promoting our show for quite a while.
Yeah, it's
how much does Purple pay you to do that?
I think it's half your salary, Jenny.
Oh man, that's not fair.
I was actually watching on Rod's little stream this morning. Your name came up a couple times.
Whose stream?
On Ra.
Yeah.
Then see your name came up a couple times while I was watching it.
Yep.
With the
I was there.
Yeah, with the scientists on cosmology, I believe it was.
I guess I haven't watched that one yet.
Yeah, I think he just did it this morning.
Yeah. I remember when I was a Christian, I was kind of fond of the Robert Jastrow quote about, um, yeah, for the person who's lived his life by faith and reason, the story ends like a bad dream. He's scaled the mountains of ignorance to find a band of theologians who have been sitting there for centuries. And being a reference to, Christian theologians were saying, long time ago, well, what was before the beginning? Well, there wasn't a before. And that's kind of what Big Bang cosmology came to. Of course,
You know what I find? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My take on it now is, when Christian theologians were saying that, they were basing that on kind of abstract philosophy with no reality behind it. So, maybe not. There's no way to know for sure. And when science came to that conclusion, it was on the basis of observations.
What I find funniest about and I don't want to say atheist community, but the people who do not profess to be Christians or believe in the Bible, I would like to globalize that more. There's so many folks who, I don't believe in God. That's just bunk, silly. A guy in the sky, blah blah blah, burning bushes that talk, and all this stuff. But then they turn around and believe in astrology, or pagan gods, or all these other things that are equally as insane.
Yeah.
It's like, well, okay, what's the difference? You're just choosing a different thing to fantasy to believe in.
Yeah, and folks like Neil deGrasse Tyson has said that it's not enough to remove religion. You have to replace it with something, with real critical thinking skills.
Yeah, it's called science.
Jenny?
Yes.
Yeah, did you have to call me out so hard? I mean, I've been very open. I spent 25 years as a pagan.
I'm not just you, anybody, not just you at all. No.
Well,
Many people
like
in our chat qualify with
Yeah.
that too.
I figured out that, the Bible, when I tried to read it, I got a third of the way through and thought they can't expect me to take this seriously. But I still had the concept that there had to be something out there.
Yeah, I can see where that is. When I first became atheist, I had that longing as well, and I tended to focus on Indigenous American religion, so to speak. I don't think it's fair to call it a religion. It's a life. And I realized with that too, I said, okay, yeah, we're all part of the same nature, and all the animals are our brothers or cousins, whatever you want to say. But there's no Father Sky, there's no Mother Earth. It's just the planet and the dirt and space.
One of my favorite quotes from Joseph Campbell is that religion is what happens when spirituality falls into the wrong hands.
I like that.
And that's I've kind of extended that a bit, and to the point that I'm saying that religion is what happens when somebody builds a bureaucracy out of around spirituality.
No, it was all just a funny hat contest that got way out of hand.
Yep. You're right on that. It's whoever has the fanciest hat wins.
Religion does like funny hats, don't they?
Except the Jewish people never got into the competition.
Well, some sects.
Oh, there's a yarmulke.
Yeah.
Ashkenazi Jews wear those men wear those funny brimmed hats, and
yeah. Well, I was just meaning the yarmulkes. They've got just this little disc that doesn't even cover their head.
It only covers a bald spot. That's all that matters.
I never thought of that, but that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense for where that came from.
That's why women don't wear them. The Catholic Church.
Pragmatic Crystal with us shilling out everybody's links.
The Catholic Church, is griping about smaller and smaller parishes and people interested in going into it. I wonder if they were to do some particular reformations, they may be able to attract more people into mass and this sort of thing. What if they started making the little piece of styrofoam that you eat, instead of making it out of styrofoam, making it out of sprinkles, sprinkle wafers?
Oh, there we go. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just, put sprinkles in a little cookie press and smash them all together.
Mm-hmm. Or make their wine out of liquefied sprinkles.
That would probably go better than making the wine out of actual human blood.
Mm-hmm. And I would imagine that if you were to mix sprinkles up with, say, Elmer's glue or something like that, you could use it as a material to cast your own crucifix and things. Or the whole Jesus, even, Jesus sprinkled. Oh gosh, I've lost the word. Jesus made out of sprinkles.
Oh, a sprinkly Jesus would look far too gay for them.
Yeah, well, they just don't want to show that they're gay. They know they are.
Well, yeah. Hey, Jesus hung around with 12 guys and cringed anytime a woman tried to touch him. It doesn't take much to connect the dots.
I heard a discussion recently about transubstantiation, and it went something along the lines of, there are accidents which are superficial qualities of something, and there's the real substance of a thing. And the bread and the wine, the molecules that make them up, those are part of the accidents, the superficial qualities. I'm like, huh? Bread is composed of carbohydrates and alcohols in the wine. That's what that is. That's not superficial. That's the substance, if there is such a thing.
I think it's just creepy as fuck to have a ritual that's all about eating and drinking your savior.
Yeah.
I've recently come to the conclusion that the whole wine and bread being the blood and body, that aspect of communion had to have come along after Christianity had just split off from Judaism and become completely focused on a Greek audience. Because any first century Jew, the whole aspect of consuming blood would have been just completely disgusting. And it would be like, saying to one of us, okay, there's this new religious movement, and part of the ritual for becoming part of the community is you're going to punch your mother in the teeth. That's okay. You're only symbolically punching your mother in the teeth. Still no.
Yes. Eat this bread, for is my body. Drink this wine, for is my blood. Swallow this mayonnaise, for is... Okay, we're stopping you right there, Jesus.
Wine is just a first century stage blood. With sprinkles. I'm trying to keep this on topic,
Yeah, I had wondered about that, because I remembered there was a commandment about not eating blood. So I had wondered about how that wound up suddenly went from being prohibited to being required.
Exactly. Yeah, that's in the early stages of the development of Israel as distinct from Canaan, that whole blood taboo might have been a little fuzzy, but definitely by the 1st century, that was like tattooed on everybody's brain. No, you don't do that.
Sorry, I'm answering the side chat here. Regios put a link to Mage's Media Musing, which somehow Pragmatic Crystal had missed.
Oh, well, thank you.
I just can't believe Pragmatic Crystal missed the link.
So I've been wondering, is there a story behind your name there?
Yeah. I've got my own channel, which I have yet to actually post my own content on yet. That's going to be about my deconstruction journey. And yeah, I had picked the name originally as when I was doing a WordPress blog, and I was kind of looking at the atheist community, and I thought about the friendly atheist, and then I found out, oh no, that's taken. And then I was like, my unfinished journey, that kind of works. And
Yep.
Yeah, I've since learned things like, don't give yourself a name that you're going to outgrow. Like, like Craig McNeil recently had to change his name from Fight the Flat Earth because, hey, flat earthers are kind of irrelevant now. Yeah. After the final experiment.
Yeah, I took about 3-4 months to pick a name because I wanted something that didn't necessarily define my channel to be about any one specific thing.
Yeah. And and part of my explanation for the name is what kind of a journey is it, and why is it unfinished? Well, it's unfinished because I hope to keep growing and learning until the day I die. And
I was gonna say, as soon as you're alive, the end hasn't been written yet.
Yeah, let me check my pulse here. Yeah, I'm not dead yet.
For me, Mage came from I was sitting there early days, and then the chat had said I needed a name, and I had a Final Fantasy booklet sitting next to me, like Mage. Okay, that'll work.
Well, mine was from Slothgirl, that she had said that nothing rhymes with purple and nothing rhymes with orange, so by default they have to rhyme with each other.
Well, or at the very least, they come closer to rhyming with each other than anything else comes to rhyming with either one of them.
Although the botanists have fucked that up now, because they decided deliberately to make a word that rhymed with orange. So,
and that is
sporange is now the term for the frilly structure, the frill structures on the bottom of a mushroom cap that hold the spores.
And only on orange mushrooms?
I don't think the color matters.
I'm sorry, I got booted off and received a text message from God. It said I've been digitally smited.
I'll have to talk to him about that.
Wait a minute. Which God? Did they sign it?
The one that promised I'd be back in 3 minutes.
Ah.
After 3 minutes, I would rise again. That kind of thing.
Yeah, 3 days to rise. That's terrible respawn rate.
Dude, one time I got so wasted, I passed out, and I woke up 3 days later in a tomb.
That's another thing that makes no sense in that whole story. Is the whole them going up to anoint him while he's in the tomb. They didn't do that after he was buried. They do that before they put them in the tomb.
Yep.
Well, you never know. I mean, it's a real kinky kind of system they got going back then.
Well, actually, part of the anointing, what they were more likely doing, is going to lay herbs across the body to help mask the smell of the decomposition.
Again, that would be something you do before you put them in the tomb.
And another question: was this like a private tomb or was this like a group tomb?
That's actually a really good question. And it's hard to say, seeing as they said that the tomb was empty. We can probably assume it was a single tomb. Only then again, it does say that the stone that was covering it was rolled away. For the time that was when he supposedly died, the only tombs that would have had round stone covers to be able to roll away, they would have been in tombs for mass graves for really fancy families who are rich. The
Yeah.
other most common tombs would have had the square hair coverings. It was only later, around the time when in the Bible, these stories were written, and would they have had more commonly round covers for single tombs.
Made you know way too much about this. I'm sorry, you'll have to leave.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean they did say, the tomb was donated by a rich man, so I had always assumed that it was like his family tomb.
I think it's interesting that that it's been such a pervasive event in human history that it's even gone to our current time and created an entire new game that eventually became a TV game show. Name that tomb.
Reggie, yes, it wasn't a stock, but this is how the famous Tom Baker's Doctor Who scarf got created. They were trying to find something that would be a unique piece for the character. So they gave a woman in the props department, all these bags of leftover yarn and just said, see what you can do with it. And since she had no pattern, she just kept going until she ran out of yarn. And that's how Tom Baker wound up with the 12-foot long scarf.
I always loved that scarf.
I love scarves, and I've always wanted a Tom Baker scarf.
I believe you can get them on Amazon.
One. Yep, I had one at one time. My sister-in-law made it for me. But I later found out that the one I had was actually bigger than Tom Baker's, because apparently, it only gave the instructions in how many skeins of yarn to use. And apparently a US skein of yarn is like 6 ounces, and a British skein of yarn is only like 5 ounces.
Oh, those cheap fucks.
So mine turned out to be like 20% bigger than it was supposed to be.
All right, I got to check something. I'll try not to disappear again. Do, 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 do. Ooh, there's a lovely transgender colored skater skirt. No, never mind. Let's see. Tom Baker.
Yeah, I am still secretly raging over all of the transgender women who talk about transitioning later in life when they had to wait until they were almost 30 to do it.
Holy shit. How about an official length Tom Baker scarf for only $94 on Etsy? Holy cow!
It's only it's only $89 on Amazon.
Yeah, but then you're giving money to the fuckface.
If it's handmade on Etsy, it's worth at least $100 for the amount of time it took.
Oh, here's one at $60. Kind of pretty. But is there an official pattern for it?
Yeah, actually that's the one that my sister-in-law used. I had actually written to the BBC about it. And they sent me, what they call the pattern. It was obviously just, somebody had hand-scribed notes. But apparently those were made by the woman who actually made the original one.
Would they have like color and length of that particular patch?
They weren't very detailed. It basically just said that for this color use one skein and so forth.
Hmm.
So. Oh, I'm sure I still have them around here somewhere in one of my boxes of paperwork, but I don't know where I would find them.
Now there's lots and lots of people who do this scarf on Etsy, and many of them look very different than others. Do they change colors season to season?
Nope. There was only one scarf, and it got shorter season to season because there were several episodes where it got cut or burnt.
Here's some Doctor Who suspenders. They're so long they got to wrap around your crotch up to your shoulders and back three times.
My sister-in-law sent me a package for my birthday. My birthday was last Saturday, by the way.
Happy birthday, I hope.
Yep.
We had birthday happies all over the place for you, but you didn't show up.
Yeah.
So
well, that
birthday.
was because that was, Friday night I had lost Petunia.
Oh.
So I was not feeling at all social.
Okay, well, at least we know that you're okay. That was the
Petunia
concern.
was, for those who aren't familiar with it, Petunia was Slothgirl's cat that I had took in, but even before that, I had always been taking care of her. She always knew me as the bringer of food. And apparently she never heard that line about don't bite the hand that feeds you. Because she bit me pretty much daily for about 7 years. The last couple of years, we got it down to only a couple times a week.
Oh.
Hey, Commander and Cosmic Kyle have joined us.
Kyle.
And Molly is enjoying some belly rubs right now.
Stool. Oh my God.
Yep.
There's no stool there?
Yep,
Yeah.
Stool's been hanging outside chat there. I sent Stool a link, but I know that he has said that it is really difficult for him to get online. So.
And after meeting Stool, I've always asked the question, just how stable could this person actually be?
Well, I have explained Stool's backstory. I think everybody is familiar with the Beauty and the Beast story.
Oh no, Stool used to be a candelabra?
No. That when the witch came and cursed the castle, Stool was in the barn milking the cows. So that is how he became merged with the stool. So he became a sentient stool.
Was this part of a job or part of a fetish? Don't answer that one.
Well, he was only milking the cows. He wasn't inseminating them. Although whether or not he tried to milk the bull, I don't know.
Yeah, there are guys who do have boob fetishes.
City Slickers too. Yeah, I was just tugging and the milk wasn't coming out. The cow's name is Norman.
Oh,
I was wondering why this one had only one teeth.
Stool, is it your birthday? How old are you, honey? You have to tell us if you want gifts,
Yeah, that didn't help leading up to losing Petunia, was that it was just the anniversaries of both birthdays and deaths of a couple of people I was close to. Because it was through June and July last year that we lost 3 people in our community in 5 weeks. You know, Sloth Girl and Lavender Lady and Vonrek.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah. And Sloth Girl's birthday would have been in June, and excuse me, Lavender Lady's birthday would have been 2 days after mine.
My heart goes out to you, Perp.
Okay, Stool, you got stuck at 21. Sloth Girl was 29. And no awkward questions about how her daughter was older than she was.
Damn DeLoreans.
We couldn't afford a DeLorean. I had to make the time machine out of a 95 Geo Metro.
Oh, well used. They're not worth very much at all. You can afford one now. Anybody can.
Yeah, but have you ever tried to get a Geo Metro up to 88 miles an hour? It just don't happen.
Just don't make them out of Teslas.
I've driven Isetas. A Geo Metro is a rocket ship.
Mage. The whole idea of using the DeLorean was the stainless steel body. A Cybertruck should be perfect.
Cybertrucks are made out of unsold DeLoreans. You didn't know that, did you?
Nice. Good one, Jenny.
Yeah, I don't think the Cybertrucks were quite the same standard of stainless steel.
How could anybody design a car that fucking ugly? I mean, the Edsel is gorgeous compared to the Cybertruck.
Yeah, and on a related note, pretty much the standard for autonomous vehicles for vision is to use LiDAR, which has this funny looking whirly thingy on top of the roof of the car.
Uh-huh.
And Elon was adamant that no LiDAR, optical cameras only. And I think his primary reason for that is that the LiDAR setup is just ugly. But now with the Cybertruck, why not? It's already ugly.
And he was a fan of Joey Chitwood's. God, I can't remember. Fuck.
The stunt show?
Tournament of Thrills, yes.
I think the Cybertruck was just that Elon had this picture that he had drawn in kindergarten, and he gave him to that and said, "Build this truck."
I had heard it was one of his kids that drew that.
You know, we giggle about that, but when I was in 6th grade, we had this one kid who had the gift of art. He was one of those kids who could actually draw from the day he was born, it seemed. And he was into cool cars and stuff like that. And he drew a car that from my memory, is exactly what the Cybertruck looks like. It's just there's just this doorstop, you know?
I'm not buying it was one of Elon's kids, because I wouldn't buy that any of Elon's kids cared about him enough to actually give him a piece of artwork.
I always thought the Scion and XBs were pretty ugly. This thing here.
Oh, see, I think those are gorgeous.
No, that's what my late fiance drove, so.
I didn't really like them.
I prefer I mean, I like that format. I guess I should say that. I like the oh no, whose was it? Honda had one, and was it Kia that had another one format like that?
Like it.
The Cube.
Oh yeah, the Cube was interesting, but I can bet you if that wraparound window broke, it probably would have been cheaper to buy a new vehicle than to get that replaced.
Tell me about it. My car's whole back end is a big ass window like that. The people don't even sell the glass; they sell the entire hatchback lid if you need a new glass.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Not too long ago, we wound up replacing the glass in the hatch for Molly's minivan. Fortunately, that one wasn't too bad. She was able to get the glass from a salvage yard, and we put it in ourselves.
When people tell me about their want to junk a car and stuff like that, the first thing I tell them is you yank that glass and you put it away because someday it will be worth tons.
Yep.
I've sold little quarter lights on a car with there's a 4-door and you got the main window on the door on the rear, but then there's this little wedge shaped kind of window.
Yep. Yeah,
Man,
the
you can
little
get
triangle vent windows.
so much money for those things. The thieves love to break through those because somewhere in their head they think, oh, well, this is going to be the cheapest window for the owner to replace. And it's not. The window's astronomical, and it takes hours and hours of labor to get that damn thing in and out.
I wouldn't think the thieves would care about how much it's going to cost the owner. It just seems that those are a lot easier than busting the main window.
Well, because you have to then reach in all the way forward and rub up against the frame with the broken glass in it to unlock the door to get in. There's always been a debate that people who give credit to the thief is thinking about the cost to the owner, but others just say, well, they do it that way because they don't want to sit on the glass as they steal your radio. So who knows?
Actually, a woman I dated, every time we got out of the car, she said, don't lock it, because at least that way they don't have to bust the window to steal the stereo.
Yeah, but see, you assume that the car is unlocked. They just bust the fucking window anyways. I've seen that happen so many times.
Yeah, but just the neighborhood she lived in, that's just the way it was. That, your car's going to get broken into. Just try to do it so that they can do it with less damage.
Yeah, every once in a while, I'm absent-minded enough that every once in a while I'll leave my car unlocked just because I screwed up, and and when I park it on the street and do that, I'll come out and sometimes I'll find that that like the glove box or the console compartment is open, somebody saw. Hey, this is unlocked. I'll see what I can grab. And I don't keep anything valuable in it. So,
well, you talk to cops and burglary or whatever, and they say most crime is crime of opportunity. That some bad guy comes by and sees an opportunity and takes it.
Yeah. So why do you talk to cops so much, Jenny? Huh?
Well, because I've known lots and lots of cops in my life. I had a car shop, and I had to talk to a lot of cops when we were broken into the building, and I had to talk to a lot of cops when customer cars were broken into, or when customers brought me cars that were broken into and stuff. So it was just part of my life.
I had a good interaction with a cop just a few months after we had moved here. Was being unfamiliar with the city, and my GPS was getting a little confusing. So, I made a turn out of the wrong lane, and he flagged me down. Of course, I hadn't had my driver's license updated yet, so he was asking me where I was living, and I told him where it was, and he said, "Oh yeah, that's one of the good buildings. We don't get many calls there."
I have such mixed feelings about cops. I grew up in a neighborhood on the far northwest side of Milwaukee County. It was brand new, developing tracts of land. It was in the city proper, not the suburbs. But it was laid out it was all farmland, and they cut it up into quarter to half acre size lots.
Yep.
And so everybody had a big lot, and it looked like a suburb, except it was actually part of the city. And lots of young married cops wanted to move in there because it was not the crime-ridden area of the inner city. and stuff. And so I had lots and lots of cops as neighbors, and I got to know these. I was a kid. We moved there. I was 10 years old, and I got to know these guys, and a lot of them were just really fucking nice guys. With good families and stuff. And one of them taught me how to rig fishing lines and hooks and all that kind of stuff. And another guy in Milwaukee had their 67. Yeah, I think it was 67 riots, like so many cities in the country. The only cop that got shot during it was my neighbor, who then, after about a year or so after that, walked through a plate glass window because he wasn't paying attention. But they were good guys. And then when I was at the shop, okay, I was an adult, and so they talked to me like an adult, not like a kid. So I got to see their true selves and things. And there were a lot of them were a bunch of pricks. There's no doubt about that. But there also were cops who were good guys who genuinely wanted the criminals to not be there and not do crime things, but at the same time were fair and treated them with dignity, even though they were a bad guy. But I also look today and see all the cold-blooded murders that they perform, and it will always be a conflict, because I know no matter how many bad cops you see, there are some back there that are just stuck in the system but are good guys and don't know how to deal with it. If a cop turns in a buddy, he's in big trouble.
Yeah.
That's
his buddies are going the problem is that the good ones tend to burn out quick.
So, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, all cops are bad. And they have to prove themselves that they're not to me.
So you're saying you're not actually a narc?
No. Nope. In fact, I've gotten high with a couple cops.
Oh, so that explains the evidence that went missing in a couple of trials there, huh?
Yes, I am free of all charges. Of course, the guy in the house in the backyard got busted real bad.
I just meant if they brought the weed, it was probably what they confiscated from somebody.
I had a friend who he didn't live in my backyard, but in Milwaukee, there's a lot of lots that had the front house, which was the main house that the property owner lived in, and in the backyard there was like a grandma's or mother-in-law's cottage or something they would call it. And I knew a guy that lived in one of those. Old Jeff K is his last initial. I won't say his name. Fuck. I was at our mutual friend who was living in the house in the front yard. It was rented. And Jeff got busted one night, and all the cops there was like 50 cops there. And they busted him with, honest to God, 20 pounds of lysergic acid diethylamide. Lucy in the Sky.
Yeah, a little bit over the legal limit for personal use, huh?
Yeah, if you know anything about that particular thing that people used to do, and still do, I guess, the average dose is like 150 to 250 micrograms. Now, how much did he have? Holy shit.
That's industrial quantities there.
Oh, God, yes. And you know what his final sentence was? 3 months probation. Damn good lawyer.
Wonder who ratted out for that.
I don't know. I never asked him, but I did figure that he had to have done something quite dastardly that way, and I chose to not associate with him any longer.
Now, see, this is also one of the reasons why I like cats over dogs. They say a dog is man's best friend, but a cat will never show the cops where your stash is.
No, but if you train your dog, they'll show you where your buddy's stash is. Yeah.
Well, also though, if the cops find your stash, you might get away with convincing them it's catnip.
Well, not if it's LSD.
Nope. those little itty bitty gelatin things, eighth of an inch a square. It's whew, man.
Oh,
Stuff.
I got tons of capsules like that.
No,
I would
you
have
don't.
to do, yeah, all I would have to do was put them in the bottle for my B vitamins. They'd look just the same.
No. They're not capsules. They're little bitty squares that are about an eighth of an inch square, and they're called
Oh,
window pane.
okay, squares. No, the B vitamins aren't really capsules either. They're just these little, like squishy.
Yeah, no.
Basically, they're like tiny water balloons.
These are as thick as a piece of paper. Okay, that's what you're looking at, and barrel is just that. It's a barrel shaped thing, but it's really really tiny also.
Mm-hmm. Well, I could just empty out some of my gabapentin capsules and fill it up with those, and I mean, it would be kind of a larger dose, but
Yeah.
I mean, you'd only be getting
Journey,
like 300 times the dosage.
Journey. So you don't think that I'm some sort of a junkie? I know this stuff because I used to work for and run a crisis intervention AODA drug abuse type hotline.
Okay.
So that's
Jenny,
okay.
we
Sure.
understand.
That's your story.
You don't have to convince me.
Jenny, we understand. You didn't need any of the stuff because you were just getting high off your darkroom chemicals.
No. Mm-mm. Those you sniff before you mix them. It's of course you won't be around the next day if you do that, but
I had that accidentally happen to me because I was making a dragon and I was skinning it with the tissue paper and the model airplane dope. And the only place I could do this because it was going to make a mess was in the basement, which was not well ventilated. And I didn't really think about this, and I'd been working on it straight for 7 or 8 hours. And it wasn't until I tried climbing the stairs that I realized that, something's kind of weird now.
I would have figured it was when the dragon started turning to talk to you.
Oh, he was talking to me before I put the skin on him. I mean, the character is there before I make the physical shell for them. That always happens.
So has anybody had any visits from Jeffrey Epstein lately?
Nope.
No?
Not that I can talk about.
Well, I'm holding out to see if Trump is going to pay me the money not to expose him.
Well, he won't. He'll just send you to El Salvador or Somalia. I mean, South Sudan.
Oh, I did hear one interesting thing. I don't know if anybody remembers. I don't know. It's probably like 2 years ago that that Russia started advertising to MAGA guys about that if they wanted to move to Russia that they were going to give them a house and such.
I heard about that.
Yeah, come on over. We don't like those gay people either.
Well, okay. Apparently, some MAGA men took them up on this and didn't read the fine print, so they are now being sent into the active combat units.
Ooh.
That particular guy who that story that's circulating right now is about was in the news again or earlier about this similar issue about how he wanted to come home because Russia turned out to be such a horrible place, and now Russia resolved that by letting him leave the country, except it's only to Ukraine. It's
Yep.
well, what a bunch of nice guys. guess they already
Yeah,
had
you
they had
can
a
get blown
shortage.
up now.
They had a shortage of third floor windows.
Okay. Yep, we have some more people joining us now. I see Tori and Demon Orb and a Sinister Porpoise
Demon Orb. Oh man.
and Captive Desk. All hail Bigfoot.
All of our
Oh,
heroes.
Bigfoot.
Hi,
Nero.
kids. Mm. Anybody like a cigarette? I'm rolling some. If you like, I can toss. Oh no, I better not say. I almost slipped and said a bad thing in public.
Well, that's all right.
I almost took the a Crocodile Dundee thing, shrimp on a Barbie. And since I was talking about rolling cigarettes, I'll put another F on the Barbie. No, that's just you just can't say that stuff nowadays.
I put a doll on Sloth Girl's head, so I had Barbie on the shrimp.
Ba-doom.
Yeah, Sloth Girl would joke about it herself. She said she was 5'0", so I was a full head taller than she was.
God, she was that tiny? Wow.
Yep, just barely 5 foot tall.
I always wanted to be tiny. My grandma was 4'11".
Yeah, that's one of the most common things for trans women is always, wanting to be shorter.
Well, if I had a choice, I would want to be like 5'6", 5'7", something like that. But I'm 5'9", and that's a half inch taller than my mom. So, all of her brothers and parents and stuff, not grandma, but father and stuff, were all over 6 foot. So I
Yeah.
just come from a tall family. That's just the way it is.
Well, I would like to actually lose a few inches, but since there isn't any way to do it that doesn't involve them cutting bones, I'm not going for that. Because they can do that now.
Yes, they can.
They can actually cut your legs off and put them back together to make them shorter.
More commonly, they cut your femur and they put a spreader in there and make you taller over a period of a year. They just stretch it out a little further and the bone grows a little further. And no, thanks, baby.
Yeah, that just sounds like an incredible amount of pain to go through for something superficial.
There is a procedure where, oh gosh, for all you guys out there who wish you were more endowed, there's a procedure where they insert balloon type devices and they pump them up into a larger and larger organ over time, and the skin grows to expand to that dimension.
It will pump you up.
Yes, exactly. Now, if any of you guys out there would actually want to go through that, I'm gonna laugh at you. But I guess it's no worse than a woman getting breast implants. It's
about the same, I guess.
Actually, Captive Desk, the one time I felt short was when I excuse me, when I met Alias Fake Name and Prophet Azad. That both of them were a full head taller than I was. They're both over 6 foot. So that was the one time in my life I actually met short standing next to the two of them.
I'm 4'20".
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bad math. 4'21". Oh, God, I'm such a failure.
That's okay. Do it in metric, and no one in this country will know what you're talking about.
I barely know what I'm talking about.
Well, that's why you're on this show instead of one of the programs that actually gets viewers.
Hey, I finally watched Apostate Sisters on Friday. What a good show they put together.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I would like to heartily recommend that show to everyone.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just watching some of their older stuff before I got on here.
Yeah, that's yeah, you want to talk about having a fucked up childhood. It's amazing to me that they came out of that as functional people.
Yeah,
Whether it's a cult-like system that they were in, or whether it's somebody in the Catholic or Lutheran Church or Baptist or whatever, it's just as bad. You fill these kids with all this bullshit and scare them to death for the rest of their lives.
Well, a lot of it was the same stuff about, the shame over sex and things like that. But yeah, theirs was a much more controlled environment.
Porpoise, yes, freedom degrees. I love it.
Well, that's why you put the little F after it, right?
Oh. I do blame the weather on the Republican Party, the American Republican Party.
Well, to some degree, you're right. I mean,
Yeah.
they have been denying the possibility of climate change for 50 years, so.
They are the only controlling body of people on Earth who can actually change policy that believe in the fact that or their belief that the fact is that climate change is bullshit. And they're the only people on Earth, and they are fucking up the entire planet. They own this weather. It is 100% their fault.
absolutely.
I think a lot of it, actually has to do with the religious people who think that it doesn't matter because, Armageddon's coming any day now. So, there's no point in worrying about the planet supporting the next generation because the world will end before then.
By their own hand, they must know it's true.
And there are also some of those that, are doing what they can to bring it about. There are definitely some of the religious people who are trying to push start Armageddon. Etc. Ethan is curled up here looking especially cute, napping with just one tooth first showing. I think he's gotten a bit more clingy because, I don't know. Maybe he thought that since I took Petunia away and she didn't come back, maybe he's afraid I'm going to return him to the shelter.
I would think probably not.
Yeah, actually September is the busiest month for doing roofing. Just being a bit cooler to do it and still having decent enough weather that you can expect a few days without rain.
My math teacher in 8th grade, Mr. Clementi, was a roofer over the summer. And he always said, well, I like taking a job in the summer like that because I get to make twice as much as I do as a teacher. Jeez. Yep. What an indictment. This is in the 60s when it wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Lehrer made a joke about that in one of his introductions. Saying that he didn't have to be an entertainer because he could make up to $3,000 a year teaching.
And how about that Stephen Colbert?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
well, and he knew it was coming too. He had made a joke about it in his monologue like a week before. As soon as the whole thing about Paramount paying Trump off with $16 million.
The thing that bugs me most about that is it was a completely winnable lawsuit, according to every lawyer type that I've heard talk about that.
Yep.
And they just didn't want to go through, it takes all that time. So instead we'll ruin the entire market and 200 people's jobs.
Actually, what I think they were more afraid of is that if they won the lawsuit, that Trump would send his sycophants in the FCC after them to pull their license.
Yeah, see, I don't know how that works, but my heart wants to say that couldn't happen. I could see him trying to, but by law, it shouldn't be able to happen.
Well, by law, yeah, a lot of things Trump has already done couldn't happen.
Yeah.
In journalism school, first semester journalism school, they taught us about the FCC, and what they used is enforcement by raised eyebrow. That the whole system was based on the media believing that had to please the FCC, and so that it would stay within the rules. But they never discussed any cases or anything where the FCC actually had to take action outside of a minor fine because somebody said fuck or something like that. But in terms of licensure, I've never heard of any media losing their license. It may happen. I just haven't heard of it.
Yeah, and just Paramount's bullshit about it, or being that they're doing it for financial reasons when he's the top-rated show in late night.
Well, apparently they're trying to get a merger through, and they need approval.
Yep.
Ding, 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 ding. You nailed it. There is also, I've heard it made mention in other TV talk show crap and stuff like that, that there has been a generalized reduction in the viewership of late night TV overall, all the networks, not just Colbert or anybody.
Because more people are just watching streaming services and fewer people are watching network TV.
And Colbert and Kimmel are particularly vicious when it comes to Trump.
Yep.
I don't watch Fallon much.
But I'm sure that Colbert himself doesn't have to worry too much about it, because with his name, I'm sure if nothing else, like Hulu or someone is going to give him a new series. Not so much for all the other people that work on his show, like the band members and that. I don't know if they'll get another chance, but being the star of the show, he'll get a soft landing somewhere.
I think the best late night band is Questlove.
Questlove?
Mm-hmm. On
What
Fallon.
What show are they on?
Fallon.
Ah.
Questlove is an amazing guy. He's just, wow. He is so into everything that's cool. And so talented. I just really like him. Very soft-spoken man. Oh, pardon my yawn. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have muted.
Oh. Porpoise says that she saw something that Colbert was already picked up by CNN. It wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, that would be interesting. I heard that Murdoch gave Fox orders to stop being nice to Donald Trump and start printing dirt. That would be interesting if it was true. I think Murdoch's going to kick his ass. I'm going to sue Murdoch. Trump is such an asshole buffoon. What about Discovery, Donald? because of the nature of the suit and something that was written, you're going to have to be put through discovery that they're going to extract every single bit of information out of your entire life.
Yep.
You are fucked, Donald. Drop the suit.
Yeah, they're going to make a lot more of his private life public that way.
Oh, he'll just get rid of everything and get charged with spoliation of evidence.
Oh, this thing, 100,000 mentions of Trump being redacted.
Well, this Epstein thing is actually eroding some of the MAGA because they're realizing that he did lie to them.
Yeah, not enough and not fast enough. But indeed, you're right.
I don't know, what percentage of them it's going to be, but yeah, I just have seen interviews and clips of, quite a lot of them, seeming to say that, yeah, if he lied to us about this, what else did he lie to us about?
The guys who I've seen on TikTok and stuff who've done their little video about what the fuck's going on, and I'm walking away from these idiots, seem to be people who could actually distinguish between there, and there, which is not the average megaton. They can barely spell I. Either way. One or three letters.
A lot of the MAGA people I've run into who seem to be coping by blaming someone else other than Trump.
Well, I've said for as long as I've lived here that I think half of my neighbors could be outsmarted by a cow.
Cows are not stupid. I love cows so much. I get such a tickle out of these videos of cows and their owners who they have a relationship with, and the owner sitting in the field playing an instrument, and the cows come around and lay down next to them and put their head on their lap, and just all this sensitive sissy stuff I love.
Just if you visit Yellowstone, don't try to pet the fluffy cows.
No. Mm-mm.
I can't believe how many times I've seen that of people trying to take selfies with wild animals. And, I think if nothing else, the flash startles them. And
let's go take pictures of these two little bear cubs.
Look how cute they are.
Did you see the one about that influencer that went to Australia and stole a wombat baby from its mother so she could take pictures with it?
No.
Yeah, she's been banned from ever entering Australia again.
Oh, good. That sounds fitting.
But I mean, to take a wild animal to begin with, and the worst thing you can do is get between the baby and the mother. Fortunately, wombats are not, the most threatening animal in the world. But
although I have to admit, I'd love to go to Australia and bring back a bunch of quokkas and start a breeding program, and then I'd like to transplant them to America. Yes, I know it's invasive species, but they're so cute.
I think Spain has a problem with raccoons running rampant because, Spanish tourists, coming to the States thought raccoons were really cute.
And they are.
And now they're an invasive species in Spain.
Hell, they're an invasive species here.
Even in their natural environment, they're invasive.
Did you know that red squirrels are not native to North America?
Uh-huh.
But in the 19th century, it became a kind of status thing for weddings to, bring them over and open a hamper full of red squirrels and let them loose like they let loose doves. because they thought, that the gray squirrels that we have here were just too drab for that.
Living out here in rural America, you definitely get desensitized to one facet of human wildlife interactions, and that's roadkill. Because there's so much, because there's so many animals here.
Well, there's a fair bit of roadkill in the Twin Cities too.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize you were Twin Cities.
Yep.
Well, here in Florida, you can find roadkill on the sidewalk.
Which twin do you live with?
Minnie, I believe.
Oh, Minnie baby. Oh, she's particularly hot. She's got that bow in her hair, or her ears, I should say. And
I said Twin Cities, not Twin Titties.
oh, I'm God. I used to really like the Twin Cities, but now it's just too big. I live down in Houston County. If you don't know it, you can look that up easily. The far southeast corner.
Okay.
I lived in each of them for a number of years. St. Paul was a little bit easier. Minneapolis was difficult in the winter because of those signs about no parking this side of river. No.
But,
I thought Journey would get that at least. It's definitely a local joke.
Okay. Yeah. Parking restrictions are a thing, yes, and sometimes it might seem like everything on the west side of the river. Yeah, sorry, can't park here.
Yeah.
One of the best breakfasts I've ever had at a restaurant was in St. Paul, and I wish I knew the name of the restaurant. It was a place that was run. The owners were a couple people. I don't know what their particular status was, but all their employees were AODA recovery people. And the service was spectacular. It was crowded as fuck, and the food was just huge and spectacular. I this is 40 years ago, 45 years ago. So I don't even know if they're still around, but boy, if you ever get the back, I'd like to try and track them down.
So, Jenny, what's AODA?
Alcohol and other drug abuse.
Okay, gotcha.
And ETOH, we didn't treat alcohol people. We treated addiction to ETOH, ethanol alcohol. Which is what we'd order from the pharmacy, 95 proof, baby. I'm serious.
I've heard of people using Listerine as a workaround.
Yeah, but that's not ethanol. That's methanol, and that'll kill you.
Yeah. I knew a guy in Michigan that, back in the 80s, before they changed all the formulas, used to get around it by drinking a bottle of NyQuil every day. But at least that way he could, keep his sobriety tokens.
Any alcohol that you consume, the effect you get is toxicity. You're not getting drunk, you're getting toxic.
Yep.
I don't care if it's methanol or ethanol. Methanol just does it a lot quicker and a lot more profoundly.
Yeah, well, I mean, the reason your body has that kind of effect is it is a mild poisoning, and that's why it disorients your brain.
Let's consume a mild poison. Strange Planet.
Yep. Actually, I've got a couple of their books. And now we have Jenny in stereo again.
Well, we were talking about the Twin Cities, so I just thought I would help matters.
Well, apparently last time I tried to kick your old one, I kicked the wrong one. So.
Oh, I didn't finish my rural story. We were talking about raccoons and stuff, and like I said, we get lots of roadkill, and that includes, sadly, raccoons, but also turtles. How can people run over turtles? That's just so heartless.
Unfortunately, some people consider it target practice.
Well, one of
Roast.
for me, the most heartbreaking thing I see in roadkill, you think about, but I never actually had to see it until last week. It was an entire family of raccoons.
Ooh.
Yeah, there was 6 of them.
Yeah, well, raccoons will travel as family units,
Yeah, they do.
and that's unfortunately that is why they can take down animals several times their size, and they will gang up on dogs and cats.
What bothered me mostly about it is that it was on a straight stretch of road. There is no way you're not going to see them from a distance.
Mm,
And whoever did it just didn't fucking care.
yeah.
Ugh, made me so mad. Just these cute little kits.
I had one time that I stopped because there was a big snapping turtle in the road because there was a pond on either side. So I stopped, and I knew better than to try to pick up a snapping turtle with my bare hands. Fortunately, I still had my snow shovel in the car, so I managed to get him onto the shovel and push him off into the grass on the side he was headed toward.
The woman who gives me my rides is a big turtle fan and animal lover, and she will absolutely lock up the brakes to stop and pick up and move a turtle.
Yep. Actually, when I was a kid, the turtles were my biggest special interest.
Well, they taste really good. Well, snappers anyways. I don't know about those other ones.
No. I had kept turtles for pets, pretty much like my whole life. And my sister gave me a can of turtle soup for Christmas one year and didn't understand why I was upset about that. I just, how fucking clueless can you be?
I've never been a Sylvester Stallone fan, and so I haven't seen his films like Rocky. But I think it was Rocky. The caption mentioned that there were turtles involved in that movie.
Yep.
Okay. He still has those 2 turtles.
Actually, that's a myth.
There was a picture of him with the turtles.
Yes, I saw that too, and I went to fact check it, and it took a little digging, but they're not the same 2 turtles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He ate the other ones, huh?
Well, they were red-eared sliders, and just their life expectancy isn't quite that long.
I don't know. I've seen some awful big red-eared sliders around here. That's like carapace of maybe a foot from Quebec.
Oh yeah. If they, if they're in a good lake, if they've got room to grow, they can.
See, that's why
the idea of them being more than 50 years old really did push the credibility for them.
Yeah, that's a little old for the species. Well, it's possible he did keep the 2 original turtles and then had new ones.
Yeah, well, that's what it was. That he kept the original ones until the end of their lives, and then he got another pair.
Turtles are really hard to prepare. I mean, I've never done it, but I've had it described to me by people who have. We have so many snapping turtles around here. Nobody feels badly at all about taking one for dinner. I mean, literally, they're everywhere all the time. They're like sparrows in the city. But apparently, you have to soak and clean those things for like days before you can even split them open.
No, don't.
They're so thick with stuff and algae and what have you.
Well, yeah, they lay in the mud on the bottom of the lake all the time. So.
Mm-hmm. The fuck.
But they are not full of sprinkles, so that's off topic. Okay,
not even
they can be.
Not even the painted turtles?
Well,
I think we have a class project now.
You know how hard it is to get the paint off?
Making turtles out of sprinkles?
The painted turtles. I mean, you've really got to scrub them with mineral spirits and everything, and by the time you're done, there's nothing there that everything's contaminated. Then you don't want to. Sinister Porpoise is mathing at us again.
Y equals mix plus B.
Y equals mx plus b is my favorite formula.
Okay, I have no idea what those variables represent.
It's way too many letters for me.
It's the formula for a straight line.
Ah.
Oh, like that would be a quadratic equation?
Well, y equals mx plus b that's not a quadratic equation. That's a linear equation.
Yep.
Another smart guy.
Although the second one here, that's a little closer to a quadratic.
Squared.
I've got an idea for Purple for a show. We should have Journey and Porpoise as our guests, and they can discuss mathematics and why mathematics are so difficult for so many people.
Yep.
And talk all about teaching techniques and the complexity and how stupid some of us are.
That actually sounds more like something that Porpoise should be doing on her show on Fridays.
Maybe we do a simulcast.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we could do a collab piece that, like we do part 1 on here, and then Porpoise does part 2 on Friday.
Yeah, I know a little bit about ADD, so I can talk about that particular challenge of related to learning.
Yeah, I have dyslexia. Slothgirl had the dyscalculia that was only math that gave her trouble. The problem I always had in school was that if I do the math in my head, I can get it right. When they wanted me to write it down on paper, I didn't get the symbols in the right order, so then I screwed it up. So they always thought I was cheating because I got the right answer, but I couldn't show my work.
I once had a whole page of math problems I did. It was just simple addition, but I saw everything as a minus symbol. I got everything right if I had done it, if it would have been subtraction.
Well, I just got the letters in the wrong order, or like I would flip the B's to be D's and things like that.
Recently, I came across a meme where the top portion of it is upside down and backwards. I was trying to figure out if it was me or the meme.
Yep. Stool. This didn't work. We tried to make a submarine out of sprinkles, and they leaked.
So stable milking stool. What is a submarine? It's a long tube with semen in it.
Ah, yes.
So Purple, you could coat a submarine in sprinkles. That's another alternative.
Wouldn't they dissolve in water?
Well, it depends on what the sprinkles are made of. I mean, sugar sprinkles, yeah, they'll dissolve. But yeah, the sprinkles of, say, iron filings.
And why is saltwater taffy?
Presumably because they used the salt water to make it.
I don't know. I'm asking. I don't know.
I don't know. I've never tried to make taffy.
Anybody out there from Coney Island can explain that to us?
Although I did always think it was kind of cool at the state fair to watch the taffy pulling machines for a bit.
You watch those too long, you turn gay.
Is that what did it? No. Almost every meme of what makes you turn gay. Yeah, I checked the box on almost all of them. Except I wasn't gay. It was just when I was about 16, I discovered there were some people who weren't bisexual.
What?
Nobody ever gave me the sex talk, so it wasn't until after I'd had a girlfriend and a boyfriend that I found out that you were usually expected to choose one or the other.
One of the biggest life realizations I had, and with my history as a trans woman and an HRT patient being as irregular and sporadic as it was in the vast majority of my life, it's only been in the last 10 years that I've been on HRT consistently, and actually have felt all the effects from it and things. And the weirdest thing that has happened, I shouldn't say weird, the most revelatory things that have happened, I think, is I realized that all these various men and boys that I knew when I was a kid, and things like that I just thought were really cool, I realized that I actually had crushes on them.
Well, apparently, the name Saltwater Taffy comes from a popular story created by David Bradley, who claims that his candy got soaked by the seawater, and he sold it as saltwater taffy, and the name ended up sticking.
Okay. Well, of course, it's taffy. Everything sticks to it.
And why do they call them hot dogs?
Oh, I know that one. That actually came from Wrigley Field. That there was a German sausage vendor who was selling his as Dachshund Hound sausages. And I think it was there was another vendor, I think was an Italian or something, that just decided that name was too long, so he shortened it to hot dogs.
Well, what does Dachshund mean in German? I mean, I know what Hund means. That's dog. Dachshund.
I'm not sure what the literal translation was, but just he was using the Dachshund Hound as a symbol, to show how long his sausages were.
I'll be right back.
Just because I mentioned long sausages, now you've got to go and. Okay, she'll be about 20 minutes.
No, I won't. I just got to figure out how to spell Dachshund.
Dachshund.
All right, let's start over here. Dachshund.
shund.
shund.
Okay, you're going to take that to Google Translate.
Dachshund. Is that right?
Dachshund.
No. I'm sorry. I keep missing that after the C. What?
H.
Okay, so the H comes after the D, after the C. H.
So there's a sh there.
Okay, so Dachshund.
There's a Dachshund.
shund.
Weirdly spelled. Weirdly spelled.
You can do it, Jenny.
Usually I can.
You know that they're a cowboy's favorite pet?
Want me to save you trouble and give you the answer?
No.
They pulled a bunch of cowboys, and most of them said to get along, little doggy.
But
what the fuck is going on with this?
Hey, I have to keep Slothgirl's spirit alive with the bad jokes. So Dachshund Hound, huh? So if you break that down, I take it that that's a dog that gives away the personal information of your children? Dachshund Hound?
Well, Hund means hound.
Yeah.
So saying dachshund hound is, in a sense, kind of repetitive.
All right, let's try the spelling one more time.
D-A-C-H-S-H.
D-A-C-H-S-H.
U-N-D.
Okay.
That ought to be close enough that Google will say,
Yeah,
"Did you mean this?"
Yeah, that's very word. Like a German Shepherd, it gets trained to be a Schutzhund, which is Schutz is German for protection, and Hund is of course dog, so protection dog. Duh, makes sense. So, what the fuck's a dash? When you separate it, Google Translate says it's a like you just said, a Dachshund, a dog, and it's like what? So I'm just thoroughly confused.
So it's a dog that doxes people?
Want me to give the answer, or are you still looking?
No, go ahead. Go right ahead.
Badger dog.
Badger dog?
Yeah.
Yep. That's what they were bred for, so that they could follow the badgers into their holes.
Oh yeah, badger docs. All right, now that makes sense.
You know, and for all the jokes about them, you know, that had to be one tough little dog to follow a badger into its hole.
Yeah.
I think they're so cute when their faces are so cute. I hate that body shape though. I just ew. Why would you want to do that to a dog?
Well, now you know, so they can get into small holes.
Yeah, but so could a Shih Tzu. One of those little things, or Pomeranian. Let's send Pomeranians after badgers. See what happens. You get fat badgers. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slothgirl's mother had lots of optos, but she always called them lopsided assholes.
Nice.
My dog that people never believed it. My last dog, Cubby. He was a mutt, and I got him from Missouri. Rescue situation. And when I got him, I took him to the vet. I was a good, responsible partner, and the vet looks at it and says, "This dog's got mites in the ears." And he said, "But the particular type of mite it is only responds to one particular medication. And if this dog has any border collie in it," and Cubby had some similarity in appearance, that it might have been some collie mixed in. He says, "We got to know." And so we had the dog genetically tested. And the dog came back as a mix between, what's that? A black lab and a Lhasa Apso. And then the results of that got together with a Chow. And the results of that was Cubby. Such an adorable dog. But you didn't see any Lhasa Apso in there, because he was a 50, 60-pound dog. But that's what genetics said. So I have no idea what a Lhasa Apso looks like or how to even spell it.
I was considering having Molly genetically tested.
I think it's a neat thing to do. It's only like $40 nowadays.
It's more expensive than that.
Oh, okay. This is a long time ago. Hurry.
Okay, everybody take a nap now.
I had, I shouldn't be tired. I had plenty of sleep. But my pulse is down to like 40, 48.
Let's see if we can get back up then. Let's see here.
You people didn't realize, giving me the option to sit it out today was a bad idea because, it was so tempting to go back to bed.
It's okay if you need to take the day off.
You just sleep while you're on the show.
You had a rough time of
Yeah.
it, so.
I mean, whatever you need, whether it be, you time or community time, either way, take care of yourself.
Yeah, well, it's it's been a few days. It was just over the weekend. It was very rough,
Yeah.
so I wasn't really
Still.
talking to anyone.
There you go. Something I came across on Facebook.
Well, that's
Yeah.
awful accurate. And I've said this before, I just cannot believe the obsession that so many maggots and Republicans have over the genitals of 0.4 to 1.2% of the population. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Oh, well, you guys, you should just be eliminated. You're just such a small percentage. You don't matter.
Yep.
You know how many percentage of people who have Parkinson's? Or how about muscular dystrophy or multiple sclerosis? Why don't you go look that up and then see how stupid you are? These people, they're so annoying.
Yeah, there was another case too of a guy with a full beard who got arrested for being in the woman's bathroom. But according to the bathroom ban, that was the one he was supposed to use because even though his driver's license said male, his birth certificate said female.
Yeah, and they say it's about genitals, but even if somebody's had the genitals reassigned, that doesn't matter. You were assigned this at birth. That's supposedly that's what you are. Doesn't matter what you've changed.
And I heard about another one that it just happened to be that it was a mistake made on the birth certificate, that they had checked the wrong box.
Oh.
So he had always been male, but when he got a copy of his birth certificate, it said female.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. That's kind of like a freebie, isn't it?
Yeah, well, no, he had no interest in transitioning, but it wasn't until he was 30-some years old that he realized his birth certificate was wrong.
Well, then I think you should start using the women's bathroom. That's all there is to it.
I heard of a case once.
I'm sorry, Journey. I'm going to interrupt. That would be the perfect test case, and I would love to see that person get involved in that.
Yeah, well, that was the thing that when the guy found this out, he took it to a journalist to show that, this law is absurd because according to the law they passed, I'm supposed to be using the women's restroom.
This is interesting. Somebody was posting Zandra with Aaron Ra's post on Facebook saying they were born with 47 XXY, but they also have bilateral OTDSD, meaning each gonad contain an ovary and testes.
Mm-hmm. Chimeric.
Yeah.
Yep. When I first started,
I'm sorry. I interrupted. Unfinished.
Go ahead.
So, by the way, I do prefer Journey. Although that being said, I realize you can't necessarily pick your nickname.
Journey's fine,
but you can pick your nose.
Haven't been live streaming on other channels.
Not on stream.
Set it here.
Well, what was that, Purple?
Well, since you haven't been live streaming yet on other channels, we can set it here, and whatever we set it as should stick.
maybe.
So yeah,
Yeah.
you pick what you want to be known by. You know, I mean, in this community, choosing your own name is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah. I prefer Journey, and yeah, I've heard Mudge being bandied about, and I suppose I don't mind that. But
Mudge?
yeah, the initials.
Yep, make an acronym out of it.
I've heard you
MUJ.
say Mudge, Jenny.
No, it's Mage.
No, that Mage is Mage.
Yeah. I used to know a guy who we nicknamed Smudge because he was just a little smudge in a pan kind of guy, you know? Brilliant, but still just a little bitty smudge in a pan.
But
and 50 years later, we still call him that.
Yeah. I just accept whatever shorthand they people want to use, and usually a lot of people look at the name wrong, and I'll just say take a drink.
The only request Greg had was, please just don't ever call me that in front of my children.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I've heard the initials MUJ pronounced as Mudge. But where I absolutely draw the line on another channel, people were addressing me as Mug. And I'm sorry, but I am not a gurney. I am a journey.
Yep.
So that's where I draw the line. Don't call me Mug.
Yeah, no, you gotta get it right.
I like Mudge. I'll use that if you want.
I do prefer journey.
Okay, Journey.
You know, and this is one of the English spelling rules we've got to reform. We have the letter J, so there's absolutely no reason why the G should have two different sounds.
Did that musical group pay you for using your name?
I have not claimed royalties yet. Although I do plan on having on stealing just a snippet of "Don't Stop Believin'," to use, Steve Perry belting out "Don't Stop Believin'" and then record scratch sound effect. Too late, already did.
Yeah, see, this is one of the valid uses of a time machine. That I could do a tracing of Mickey Mouse and go back and just get it published in a newspaper somewhere. So then I could come back now and I could sue Disney for all the royalties they've made off of Mickey Mouse because I had the character first.
Doesn't matter if it's published. You gotta copyright it.
No. Actually, you don't necessarily have to file a copyright if you can prove that it was published.
You don't have to register it. You have to state copyright. Little C year copyright. Doesn't have to be registered, but you have to say it. That's why I was able to get away with stealing BMW's entire technical manual for the Isetta. They never copyrighted it in America. And they knew it, but they never said anything. And when I approached the guys I knew in the historical division, I said, look, you guys didn't copyright this. I'm going to steal your manual and rewrite it. They said, well, okay, we can't stop you. Go ahead. So I did.
Well, the other use for a time machine, of course, is there's always the classic question of, would you go back and kill Hitler? And I have found a nonviolent solution to this. Instead of killing Hitler, get a gallery to feature his paintings so that he becomes known as a painter and never goes into politics.
I've seen some of these doodles that Trump has come up with, or that they've come up with that Trump did over the years. The guy has a bit of an eye. It was kind of disappointing that he actually have a talent in him.
and the story of the body doodle that he sent to Epstein for his birthday card?
I saw it. It was very well done.
I have not seen the actual image of it. I've only heard people describe it.
Colbert had a great joke about that. He did his drawing of this woman's body and used a signature to represent pubic hair, and then he starts whipping out all these executive orders. He signs the signature on and says, "So what's this about?" It's
Well, he claims that the drawing was all faked, but
of course
I believe whatever the hell he says.
Well,
every Republican accusation is a confession.
The thing that's followed him up now is his press secretary said that the files didn't exist.
Yeah.
And Trump is saying that there were 1,000 pages, but his name was never in them.
Mm-hmm.
So that he's fucked up the story of his own people.
Which he seems to do frequently.
Yeah. I really thought that it must be one of the hardest jobs in the world to be Trump's press secretary. To have to go out every day and announce to the media how Trump made sense.
I don't know. I think it'd be a lot more difficult of a job to have to be one of his Secret Service guys, since you're packing.
Yep.
Always resisting the temptation to.
Dude's got to go.
One where it counts.
Well, if I was one of the Secret Service guys and I saw a sniper taking aim at him, I would definitely make sure my shoes were tied.
Yep. Yeah, I honestly, in his first term of office, I was willing to place a bet that he was going to be taken out by one of his own Secret Service people.
Have you seen the newest videos that have been released from the assassination attempt?
No.
There's somebody from a different angle, who had a wider shot than just him at the podium. The moment it happens, some Trump press guy is running around and dragging photographers in to be at the right place to take pictures.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? And it is so obvious because he brings them in and it's like they take a position and then it's like he says no and pushes them further down for a better angle.
Well, yeah, there had certainly been speculation that it was set up as a PR stunt, but
I think you need to back off for your conspiracies a little bit, Jenny. You've been going a little bit too deep into them lately.
No, only this one.
Oh no, there's plenty more. You got into the Russia-controlled old Trump's conspiracy. You got the whole election was rigged conspiracy. So you're going into do bit into these.
I don't know what Russia has anything to do with anything, but
Putin's puppet. Come on, you were on that for quite a while.
Oh, Trump? Yes, Trump's absolutely Putin's puppet.
Yeah, well, that one I tend to believe just because of all the money that Trump owned to the Russian banks. That I believe that the Russians had a certain amount of influence in that regard.
Yeah, but it also discounts all the influence other countries had with him. To focus solely on Russia. That's a big problem with that.
Oh, I'm not saying it was only Russia.
His own family,
Saudi Arabia also has been influencing him.
That's a big problem with it.
His own family professes that Russia has been the number one source for their investing and money. There are so many connections with him and the Russians and his properties and the criminal aspects of some of his sales and things of properties with the Russians. It's pretty hard to deny when you add it up all together.
Not if you're Republican. If you're Republican, it's easy to deny everything.
Well, that's true.
Yuck. Is there something I forgot today?
Probably.
And I recognize that it's real easy to take a person who has such a corrupt personal history and to easily associate things in an implied manner. But if he didn't have all this criminal activity in his past, why would you make such an assumption? It's his history proves himself as being an absolutely corrupt person who will stop at nothing to do what he wants.
Well, also the fact that he's trying to remake our system to look very much like Russia's. Of just having like a dozen oligarchs who are going to control everything.
One of the things that upsets me most about it is this whole involvement with Plantier, who's creating the database of every American, everything about every American in one database. And all this information that Musk stole from the various departments and stuff went directly to them. And they're acquiring more through the Medicaid records and Medicare records and INS records. We're just trying to track down the bad guys. And why do you need everybody in the country's personal information if that's what you're doing?
Because bad guy is defined as anyone who voted against Trump.
Yep.
And then after they get that, then bad guys will be defined as anyone who has weapons that could be a threat.
Well,
they'll get around to going and taking away their guns. It's just a matter of they need to build up a little more force for it.
Yeah, that'll be the interesting thing. All these guys who want all those guns in case a tyrant comes to office. Well, there's a tyrant in office. Why are you not dealing with it, you cowards?
Yeah. Well, did you hear that the Marines have been withdrawn from Los Angeles? And what the guys on the ground there were saying is that the biggest problem was boredom. That at any given time, only about 3% of the troops had anything to do. The rest of them were sitting around there and debating whether or not, what they would do if they were ordered to shoot at civilians.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
Yeah, but just the morale, they said the morale absolutely tanked. Hey, Tux. Yeah, the morale absolutely tanked because, the Marines are just saying that, this wasn't what they were supposed to be doing. That they were not supposed to be up against American citizens. They were only supposed to be like, landing in foreign countries when there was something that needed to be put down. Which is kind of weird because it's kind of like these guys who signed up for suicide missions had great reservations about doing anything within U.S. borders. Make up. Yeah, Sammy keeps jumping up and down. I don't know if he just wants to play or what's going on, but he does keep sitting by the door when it gets dark. I think he was still expecting me to go out looking for her. So it takes them a while to adjust to.
Yeah. We ran out of things to say here.
Oh, yeah, I think everybody's just kind of tired today and running on slow speeds. Well, Journey, it was good to have you in here. And
Yeah, I'm. Thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure to get to talk to all of y'all.
yeah, well, you can join in anytime you want. The link is always posted in the Twitter or the Discord MidAmerica group. So I think you're in both of those.
Porpoise, you were born in the 1850s?
Wait, what?
Porpoise says, I was in my late 30s when someone coined the term asexual. It actually goes back to about 1880s. So, 80s, 30s, that would be 1850s.
Okay.
You look really great for your age.
Yeah, I did not know that we had a Civil War survivor among us yet. Hey?
1897.
Go back further, honey.
No, it's
1886 or 1880s, 86, I think was the correct date.
1890,
Back in Germany.
1896, German sexologist Magnus Harschiff wrote the pamphlet Safo, whatever. I'm not going to try and pronounce that in German, which mentions people without any sexual desires and links them into the concept of sexual. 1897.
Well, still, that still means like being born just a couple of years after the Civil War.
Asexuality first appeared as a type of mental disorder in 1886 when German sexologist Richard von Krafft-Ebing published Psychopathic Sexual. He saw 10 cases of men exhibiting a lack of sexual attraction and dubbed it anesthesia sexualis.
Anastasia sexualis?
And then in 1896, another German sexologist, Magnus Hirschfeld, our buddy, created the pamphlet called Sappho and Socrates, in which he mentions people who lack any sexual desire, linking them to anesthesia sexualis.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, you did find a reference that predated the one Mage had.
I wonder why Mage's source didn't reference that one, if they were unaware, or if maybe the earlier sources disputed.
I have looked up various things. Like I tried to look up once the first trans surgery, transsexual reassignment surgery, and one will say that it's in the 20s with Magnus Hirschfeld's group, and others will say it's the late 1880s or 1890s. But none of them ever mentioned the attempts that were made in ancient history through castration and severing the, I forget the actual official name now, basically the ureter from between the scrotum and the penis, so that there was no emissions in sexual activity. But I don't see any ancient writings about somebody trying to create a vaginal passage or anything like that.
And yeah, I suppose there's kind of a question of, well, was that intended to, reassign sex, or was it intended for other purposes, like?
Well, we don't know. An anthropologist, a doctor of anthropology, I know, teaches out of Australia, says that something like that, they would put together as many different features of that time in life and try to figure out those, because we don't know unless somebody actually specifically wrote it down. We did this because, but they look at like eunuchs. They say there were eunuchs who were servants, but there are also eunuchs who were entertainers. There were eunuchs who were considered royalty. So how do we know what their purpose was when they were seen in so many different aspects of life and that sort of thing? It's hard to know.
I had disputed the term sexual reassignment surgery because it wasn't reassignment, so I was calling it sexual reconstruction surgery. The plastic surgeon I consulted with said he liked that term better and he was going to use that from now on.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It was used as reassignment because it was considered a reassignment. All your legal information changed and your medical designation changed because your genitals changed, which is at that time how it was all defined. Just what did the doctor say when they slapped your ass? And you've reassigned from that, so therefore it's sexual reassignment. Now it's called gender affirmation surgery. So it's fluid. It keeps changing. We learn, we grow.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and that's why language changes over the decades. Actually, it more changes with generations than decades, but yeah.
Just take heart. Anytime you see somebody who wants to get into a trans argument with you and says XY, know that they never took any biology beyond 5th grade. And let them know that they're about 60 to 70 years behind the science.
Yeah, well.
And also,
me. All I had was high school biology in the 70s. And I can't believe that is still a better education than half the people in that country have got now.
And also, I suppose the modern sources would do well to acknowledge, the ancient stuff, and also say, we don't really know what that means, but I think it would probably improve the modern sources to acknowledge the ancient stuff.
Yeah, that we're not quite sure what the motivations were, but this is the procedure that they did.
Yeah.
And there are writings, you go back to the cuneiform, and I see discussions of the cuneiform script and how they define things and such. And they specifically say that these various symbols put together indicate that somebody is one way that they were born and lives as another. Beyond all the entertainment and things that some of them were involved in. But I find that very interesting. That even back, 6,000 years now.
Many Native American tribes had a word for that. The Lakota word Winchkee basically translates to man who wants to be a woman, and these were people who were born with a penis, but would wear the women's clothing, adopt the traditionally female roles, and even marry other men, and the whole tribe would just treat them as women.
And it also went the other way, and every tribe had its own terminology for that.
Yep.
It's one of the reasons that indigenous people who are involved in this aspect of life request that us the colonizers don't try to discuss or explain it, because we do not know. And for them it's sacred, and it's kind of a blasphemy for us to be talking about it. I tend not to agree that dramatically, but I don't know it, so I won't talk about it myself.
Well, I had been trying to find someone who was a native speaker to ask them if it was okay for me to use that word, because I felt it very appropriate, especially since, I went with the Lakota because that's the people who owned the land I'm living on now.
The other thing, when you get these people with the XXXY thing, another thing I like to do with them is when they say that, and I say, I understand. Who is Gregor Mendel? None of them know. Well, who's that? Well, just kind of a guy who was into genetics. Well, who? So, and if you don't know who Gregor Mendel is out there in the chat, go look it up. I'm not going to explain it to you, but it had to do with breeding and genetic characteristics and how they transfer over and various things like that.
Was that the guy with the peas?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's about the few things I actually did learn in school.
So purple. Do you know if that word is the same word or a different word from Two Spirits?
Yeah, it was something different from Two Spirits.
Okay.
Two Spirit is a modern term that was coined amongst a variety of different tribes who were kind of at a congress sort of thing and decided on that usage of that to mean that it's not an ancient term, it's a modern term.
Okay.
Yeah, but in usage, I get roughly that Two Spirits is more like gender fluid than somebody who is necessarily transgender.
Okay. Yeah, I was also kind of curious how big of an umbrella that term is supposed to be.
Yeah, well, I certainly don't speak any of the Native American languages, so
Gotcha.
this is all interpreted through filters.
Gotcha.
It's like I say, I would like to find somebody who did speak, some of the tribal languages in this area to find out how they feel about it.
There's a whole bunch of Native American folks on TikTok who talk about that. You should sign up and join in with them and give a listen. Oh no, I forgot. TikTok is just for kids that aren't allowed on there.
No, I know it's not just for kids. I'm just not a big fan of social media and having another site to follow.
You don't have to follow it. You can just have it there that you can see things that people offer you to look at.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I hate about TikTok is that unless you have TikTok on your device, you can't watch their video unless it's been filtered through several different other vendors or whatever. But what the fuck? There's a lot of good stuff to share.
Yeah, right now I'm being pushed to create a new Facebook account.
See, now there's one I would avoid if I had never signed up for it. I never would now. But that's just because I hate Mark Zuckerberg, the fucking Nazi.
Well, I don't want to, but it seems there are some people that I can't have regular communications with without it. And Facebook is an asshole that even if somebody sends you a link to a picture on Facebook, it won't even let you look at the picture if you don't have an account.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the X has done that too. They always attach your little external app to it, it seems, and you have to open this app, which just makes everything more cumbersome and take longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to open another Facebook account just under the name Journey, and it told me, "Oh no, you have to use your real name." And when I clicked on the thing for more details, it has to be a name that people call you. Well, people call me Journey.
Well, call it The Journey. Yeah, they call me The. Oh God. I have 1,000 people that I know are on Facebook, but if I go to it every 3 months, that's a lot. I used to be on it all the time, but
yeah,
I just got so mad at their Nazi-like behavior and Zuckerberg being the scum that he is.
Well, I didn't even choose to give up my old account. It's just I hadn't used it in a while, so when I tried to log in, it said it was suspicious behavior. And then to verify me, they were asking for stuff that I didn't have. Well, because first they wanted a picture of me, and it's like, I never uploaded a photograph of myself, so you've got nothing to compare the picture to. So then it said, send your driver's license. And it's like, well, my driver's license doesn't have any of the same information because that was before I moved.
When they asked me for a picture, I just spread legs and took a selfie down there and sent it in. They said, no, we don't want tacos. We want your face. So then I took a picture of my ass, and that they accepted.
Well, I am sure that, the way things are going, we will soon all have to have a QR code, tattooed on our arm. So that we'll just have to scan that anytime we want to do a transaction.
Yeah, but they bleed. Wouldn't you lose definition after a while?
So you couldn't access your money. You think they're going to care?
No, of course not. As long as they can access your money, that's all they want.
Okay, well, I think we wrap it up here for today. So, Jenny,
What?
You got any final thoughts on anything?
No, I can go on forever.
Okay. Journey, how about you?
Just wanted to say again, it was good to get a chance to talk to all of y'all, and I look forward to further participating in the community, whether it be on video like this or in chat or what have you. It wouldn't be complete if I didn't say Freebird at least once.
Freebird!
Yeah, I gotta do it. I gotta do it. Freebird!
Wait a minute, I got shit. My lighter won't light. Oh, there it goes.
Okay, Mage, you got to be careful about doing that. Otherwise, when your cockatiel's in the cage, that's what she's going to be screaming. Free bird! Free bird!
The bird's in the other room, in soundproofed room.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, Journey, I mean, you said that you've been meaning to put some stuff up on your channel, so, come in here and chat with us anytime, and, let us know when you put something up there.
Will do. There's some logistical things I gotta take care of, and doing something like this is kind of a little bit of a kick in the pants to get around to taking care of some of that stuff.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I haven't made an edited video in years.
Next time you come up to the panel, bring the scotch, would you?
Bring a what?
The scotch. Okay, gin.
Scotch tape?
Yeah, that's it. It drinks really well with ice.
Might bring an Angry Orchard. How about that?
Okay.
I tried using Scotch tape, and it just gummed up the heads in my VCR.
I always wanted when Scotch tape commercials were on TV, I was always mad because they didn't actually offer you any plaid tape. I wanted to cover my entire shirt with it, and have a lesbian shirt as a kid. It was Scotch tape, and then it was way too deep of a joke. It didn't work. Sorry.
I got it. It was a light chuckle.
No, it was just bad. I'll work on it.
Okay, Mage. I know for your salutes to celebrities we've lost, Ozzy Osbourne was the big one this week.
Yeah, he's on the list.
And also, I had heard that I forgot his name now, the actor who had played the oldest son on The Cosby Show.
Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Yeah, I heard that he had also died this week.
What an awful way to go.
Yeah, especially, I have felt bad for all the other actors on that show because,
Yeah.
After everything that happened with Bill Cosby, it's like networks didn't even want to play the reruns of it.
Mm-hmm.
So all those other people got shorted on their royalties.
And the girl on that, the older girl, what was her name? Lisa something. She married Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
That's meaningless trivia.
Well, here's an interesting thing I just came across. Apparently, there are people seeking gender reassignment surgeries even back in ancient Rome.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they had an emperor who was trans.
Yep, Emperor Elgab. I cannot pronounce that.
Spell it.
Elga, ELAGABALUS.
Yes.
Well, and even before that, there was an Egyptian pharaoh that was a woman, but she wore a fake beard and presented as being a man.
And then there was Jesus.
Yeah, we already discussed that one.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Okay, so Mage, you've got your show coming on Sunday.
Yes, I'm still not entirely certain what I'm going to be putting together for this, but probably involve some kind of Lost World or Land of Lost or something. I'm hoping to pair it with some little project I'm working on here. I'll show you a little preview of what I'm working on. This is a little thing I worked on. It was a long time ago I worked on this, but with AI, it's been a lot helpful to get the thing together. It's basically I'm taking animals and plant life and whatnot from the past, present, and speculative future, and putting them together on this island that has been isolated by a temporal anomaly.
Okay.
It's sort of creating but it's kind of along the long lines of your Land of the Lost, Mysterious Island kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Lost Worlds.
But the big difference I'm doing here is I'm actually trying to construct a pseudo plausible ecosystem for the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's gotten a lot more complicated than with how trying to construct it than I expected to.
There was a movie made in, I believe it was the 30s or 30s, I think. Lost Paradise.
The Lost World. In fact, I think I may have grabbed that.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Is it
Shangri-La, that whole thing?
Yeah, the Lost World. It was in the 1925.
Okay, all right.
Jenny, you might be thinking of Paradise Lost, or shoot. Yeah, there was a remake back in the 70s, I think.
Okay, no, I'm not familiar with that, but it was just a big movie that everybody wanted to see when we were kids in the 50s and 60s, and it was just black and white and actually fairly boring when it came down to it. But
I've been thinking of
it was Lost something or other. And why can't you, if you're going to do all these films on all these lost things, why don't you do Lost Virginity
As for the adult films,
or Lost My Ass, or
I've been thinking of casting a couple little concrete cubes and painting dots on them, so I'll have a paved paradise.
but I'm hoping if I can get this little project together enough, I might not be able to get it by this week. Seeing I had to kind of start over working on it, but
Yeah.
if I get some of the basic ecosystems down for each of the biomes, I'd like to be able to then take it to the live stream and have people vote on what goes into it next. It's kind of what I have in mind.
There's a channel I had run across before. I'll try to look it up for you. That a lot of the stuff they did was stuff like, could animals that we have today have survived in prehistoric times, and vice versa? Could various dinosaurs survive today?
Yeah, I have to hand wave a lot of things too. Yeah. You want to say something, Journey?
Yeah, the movie was Lost Horizon,
Oh,
in
Oh,
in
ding, ding,
37,
ding. Yep.
and there was a remake done in 73.
Ah,
okay.
Flight of the Phoenix. I always thought that was a great movie, an old movie, the original,
yeah, that was good.
with the German engineer who actually ended up being somebody who designed and built model airplanes.
Yep.
When he's right, the principles are the same.
To some degree.
Yeah. If it turns if this idea turns out to be popular, I might keep doing it for a while, but because I estimated about 176,000 species I'd have to put together for this.
Well, you better get busy.
Yeah, Jenny, a story kind of along the lines of Flight of the Phoenix was a guy who was driving a Citroen deux chevaux across the desert when it broke down. And in order to get out, he disassembled the whole car and managed to build the parts into a motorcycle.
That's actually very believable. The deux chevaux is pretty much built with just hand tools, hand wrenches.
Yeah, well, part of the design criteria for the deux chevaux was they said that a farmer in the field had to be able to do 80% of the maintenance with a kit of 5 tools that came with the car.
I always called the deux chevaux the Quonset hut on wheels.
I kind of wish they made cars like that nowadays.
Yeah, I always
Yeah,
loved the deux
and-
chevaux for its quirky charm and the easy maintenance, and I always wanted the deux chevaux Sahara
And
because
Mythbusters,
that was their 4-wheel drive version, and they tried it and they reasoned it was too difficult to get transmissions that synchronize both axles. So their solution was to drop a second engine and transmission into it. So each axle had a completely independent drivetrain, which meant you could literally blow out a motor and still drive home.
The deux chevaux and the Citroen are the two cars that basically created the expression in the car business that the French copy no one, and no one copies the French.
Yeah, that was true. And during World War II, they went through great efforts to make sure that none of their designs fell into German hands.
Why? They could have won the war so much sooner.
now. So Mythbusters did an episode about the turning deux chevaux into a motorcycle.
Oh,
And
they did.
Really?
Yeah, they were able to replicate that.
Oh, I missed that one.
Interesting.
I've always wanted a deux chevaux. I thought they were just so cute, and I like old, small, quirky cars, so fit right up my alley. But I ended up settling into Isettas.
What really floored me was last Sunday we had our local Pride here, and one of the food trucks was a Citroen van. And I was just like, it was gorgeous, but where did they get that from? Those, that company never sold the vehicles in the U.S. So where did they get that thing from?
Oh, I know a couple people that have those. The shop I worked for a short time down in Illinois had one of those for their trackside support vehicle.
Yeah, well, it's in Minneapolis, actually, there's a Citroen club. That is just all people who own the Citroens. And I went with them on a short road trip once, so I got to ride in one. I never got to drive one.
Like what, 20 people?
Yeah, about that.
So Purple, did you know that there are ships that carry things across the ocean back and forth?
There is. I heard it myself.
That's probably how Citroens get over to the side of the pond.
Yeah, it's just kind of a cost-benefit ratio that doesn't seem to work out.
Well, you're right there. I mean, back in the day, we used to list about all sorts of BMWs that we could bring over to America. They changed the import laws such that you just couldn't do that anymore. The conversion to American standards basically destroyed the car. But each car to bring over was $5,000 back then. I don't know what it is now.
Yeah, nowadays the car has to be 25 years old.
Yeah.
They want to bring it over.
Yeah. Well, you know a bit about cars there, honey bunny. That's an obscure
Yeah, I
knowledge
do.
base.
Yeah, I do. I was, when I was, the channel I've been hanging out on the most is probably Dapper Dinosaurs, and yeah, I've noticed that Dapper is not a gearhead, and
I helped them get started.
Yep.
And there don't seem to be a lot of gearheads hanging out over there. So on during the Christmas Day marathon, when I was in the chat on Purple's thing, and yeah, chatting with y'all and some other folks, I was kind of surprised to find out, well, the trans community is where all the gearheads are. Who'd have thunk?
Oh, I don't know about that. I've only met a couple trans people who are into cars. I didn't get into cars until after I transitioned. And Citroen, I think when you translate to English, it means lemon. No, that's not true.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we were trying to shut down here, so we can come back to that next week. I've got a mess of pictures of Citroens that I can, the two CVs that I can share, and I've been working on, trying to make a Lego model of one, but I haven't got it right.
Journey, do you know what the Isetta is? No, you
yeah,
don't.
isn't like a little micro car?
Yeah.
And it opens from the front.
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to restore those, and I literally wrote the book on them.
Okay, well, with that, we are going to say goodbye to everybody for today.
Goodbye, everybody. Today.
We will be back here same time next week.
Same time next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, Bones.